welcome to another edition of What's So Funny, the show that probes the brains, the minds, the psyches, and the brains of the people who make the funny. Comedian Ian Bagg's career highlights include a stint on Dr. Katz's couch, also convincing people to suck his balls, and winning a hockey championship with the most valuable primate. No, not Mark Messier. Ian also made the soul patch cool for non-jazz musicians, is not a convicted felon, and knows how to dress for showbiz success. And he's from BC. In honor of Canada's Olympic hockey gold medal, we are broadcasting live from Roberto even Luango's jockstrap. Mr. Bagg is running a little late, but we're gonna hear a little bit from him just to get a taste of what he's all about. Here's Ian Bagg.
Keep it going for that guy, everybody. Come on now. Come on. Come on. He's only 5'2". Come on, clap, you lazy bastards. Holy crap, there's only been 1,000 comedians on and you're all looking at us. Yeah, tell us something we haven't heard. Oh, good luck to you. This is a lot of old people here, I'm going to be honest with you. Did a cruise ship crash tonight? What happened? Was there some sort of accident involving food? What happened? Why is there so many old people here? I'm talking to you if you're not having fun right now. All right, good talking to you. Did somebody already come on that looked like me? What's going on right now? You guys are assholes. Anyways, this is the worst birthday party I've ever been to. You guys can leave at any time. Cranky old men. Come on now. Yes, exactly, ma'am. Move up to the front and laugh and let these guys go to the back. Apparently somebody needs a poop. Somebody needs a good old-fashioned BM. Huh? Did you guys come here to fight me? You two old guys? I'm pretty sure I can take you. I'm not bragging, but I'll find some stairs. Run up them. Wait for you while you take the escalator. And then bam, right in the hip. You guys didn't come for comedy. I can feel it. Look, I'll tell the end of the Harry Potter book right now if you don't get into this. I'm serious. Turns out he's gay. Turns out he's gay. Who didn't see that magic coming? Anyway. You guys speak English? You look like two German tourists that are not having fun at all. This is the worst ever of all time. This is the worst. Why do we even want to watch comedy? This is stupid. Look at him. He just makes fun of us because we lose the war. That's right. That's right. I like the way Germany won't let... They don't want Tom Cruise coming to make his new movie because of his religion. Wow, they really relaxed since World War II, huh? Way to let things go and really get the point, you assholes. Anyways. Oh, that's not funny at all. We've got chocolate cake. There's pudding in the middle in the German chocolate cake. Come on now. All right, listen. Some lady in China the other day had a baby with 3 arms. Oh my God, they're always one step ahead of us. He's probably making shoes and toys right now as we speak. Meanwhile, American babies at home sleeping, sucking on a tit. That's why we're losing, people. We need to get ourselves a 4-arm baby if we're going to win this space race. That's right, I said we're losing the space race. You know why we're losing the space race? Because NASA fired that woman that drove across country in a diaper to kill another woman. They fired her. Hello, if there's any crazy bitch you want going to Mars, it's that one right there. She's not going to pull over for gas halfway through. No, she's going to make it get there. The red light's on. We can make it. We can make it. Everybody lean forward. We're going to get to Mars tonight. That's not funny. We don't even have a space program. You guys are assholes. Whatever.
And welcome back to What's So Funny. He's here.
I made it.
Ian Bagg. He's in the studio with his triumphant Canada Maple Leaf toque on.
Triumphant making it into this area hat on. That's what it is.
It's been a while for you, hasn't it, Ian?
It's been a while. I forgot completely what goes on down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably... I don't know where you started out. Did you start out at Punchline?
I started out at Punchline.
So that's right around the corner, right? It wasn't quite like this then.
Well, we used... it's funny because I walked by a bar over there called... was it some Irish bar?
Yeah. What's it called, Kevin?
Oh, that one down there. Yeah, I
You know what I'm talking about? It's right
Yeah.
on the just on the corner of Gastown and Hell.
Yeah.
And and we used to hang there, and I was like, oh, it's still the same. That's interesting. And then I got around the corner, I was like, oh, wow, death.
Yeah.
So that's really sad.
It is kind of.
Well, it's good to see everybody bought property.
This is it's good to see you. Now we've never met other than briefly once. You probably don't even remember. We were walking down the street with Will Davis.
Oh, well, yeah, nice guy.
Yeah. And
He's my Olympic connection, actually.
Is he? So
a couple years ago, I played in this hockey game up here. Oh, it was 3 hockey games. We made money for the Olympics, and it was the year of the lockout for the NHL.
Right.
And I was on the actors team, and it was a lot of fun.
And how'd you do?
I think I came away even, and plus I got some points, so I was very happy.
And so, do you play? I know you've lived in LA for 10 years, right?
I've actually lived there for 15. 15 years, and I'm here right now because I've kind of been deported.
Kind of been deported. How do you kind of get deported?
Well, deported to me sounds like it's forever, but it isn't. What happened was I had an immigration lawyer for 10 years, and apparently he just stopped working on the 10th year. And when he filled out my paperwork, forgot to do half of it. Called me a scientist in half of it, spelled my name wrong in half of it, and now I have a new lawyer, and it's cost me $25,000 basically. If you look at all the work I've lost, and because of it,
no kidding.
It's a hellish 4 weeks.
I know Lachlan Patterson went through something like that.
I heard of something like that. Yeah.
Daryl Lennox got deported the other way.
Yeah, but I don't understand that. I have no idea why anybody would be coming this way as a comedian. Like, to me, I was like, if I have to move home, I might as well talk to my friends that are in logging because I'm going to be driving truck. I'm not being rude, but there's just not enough. There's not enough population up here. God bless the guys that actually work up here and make money because it is a tough haul up here.
Yeah, even doing the Yuck Yucks run?
Well, I don't know. Like, I seriously, like, how many cities are in Canada?
Yeah, probably
12?
5.
Yeah. So, like, at 12, so you'd have to do, there's 52 weeks in a year, so you'd have to do 5 times a year, you'd have to do a city. Good luck.
But what about being based here and then working in the States as well?
Well, I don't know anybody that does that. Do you know anybody that does that?
No, I don't, actually.
To be honest with you, it's a really tough either way. Like to come up this way, you've obviously got to be in love with a girl, or you found some sort of hobby up here you're really into. Mm-hmm. And to go that way, you're going to start at the bottom again. And I think a lot of guys don't want to be the small fish in the big pond.
Well, I think guys like Daryl Lennox, he really developed his act up here. He was doing all these tiny little towns, as you mentioned, right. All 12 of them. And, really, because when he got here, according to him anyway, he was pretty much a hack comic.
I don't want to say yes, but okay.
and he's not at all anymore. I mean, you get to develop outside any kind of pressure. There's nobody watching you.
But you should do that anywhere possible. Like in LA, I see all these kids start in LA, and I'm just like, why are you here? Why don't you move to Minnesota and just get stage time? Like, it does. Like, as soon as you're out of LA or New York, you're developing in the nowhere. So, why would you move to Vancouver so far away and have the difficulties of immigration? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying anything against Vancouver or anything against Daryl. I'm just saying it's a tough haul.
Yeah. Jeb Fink is the other one I can think of, and he moved here because he met a woman.
Met a woman who actually ran all the yuck. So really, he had it difficult.
Yeah. Hey, now you have an Australian passport too.
I do have an Australian passport. Yeah.
Did you ever think I'm going to go? I mean, the scene isn't that big. I know you've toured there, but
I've done some tours and I've hung out there, and the scene. Well, there's less cities in Australia than there is here.
That's right.
And I've gone into the outback and done some shows over there, and I plan on going back again, and it's a lot of fun. So, but I don't. It's one of those. It was one of those. It's one of those places that's a tough haul.
And then England is the other one. A lot of Canadian comics go over to London.
Yeah, it seemed like when I left. I started with a guy. There was actually 3 of us that really hung out together, and that was Peter Kalamis, Craig Campbell, and me. We really hung out together as a group. JP Mass was one guy, and Tom State. We all kind of hung, like that was our kind of a connection there. And then I think JP stayed here. Peter had a huge career here. Is actually coming down to America more. And Craig went to England, and so did Tom State.
Don't know Tom State, but yeah,
very funny.
Craig is doing great.
If you've never seen Tom, he's like one of the funniest people in the world. Like, Craig's very funny too, but Tom is absolutely like I'm enthralled the whole time.
But were you the first to bolt of that group?
I would say I would be close to one of the first to get out of there. Yeah.
And you're only like a couple years in.
I was 5 years in when I took off.
Really? Not according to your website.
Wow, what does my website say? I can tell you exactly when I left.
Okay, tell me. Tell me when you started.
When I started?
Yeah.
I do not know.
Okay.
I do not know when I started. I think it may have been 92, 93. But I'm not positive. And when I started to make money was 96. So I never really made money when I was in Canada, but I know I left after the year that the Canucks went to the finals with the Rangers. I left that next year.
That's how you're a big hockey fan.
I'm a huge hockey fan, and I remember that because I remember watching it on TV, living with a girl, and we all watched it on TV with her and her friends, and seeing the playoffs take place in New York, and I thought, what a crazy place. Who would ever end up there? And by the next end of the next hockey season, I was there.
Yeah, you moved to New York.
I moved to New York, yeah.
Yeah, and that was... is there a preference? Obviously, you chose L.A. over New York for the work, I guess, or lifestyle. New York
New York is awesome, and I would live there again. And I would suggest to any comic to move to New York. I would never say don't move to New York. The reason I moved was at the time my agents and my manager were talking me into moving there because I was booking a lot of commercials at the time. It was better work for me, so I decided to go, and I fell in love with the lifestyle, as you say. So.
I think of you as a, just stand-up guy. Now, I haven't seen any commercials or acting work, but I know you've been in some independent films.
I've been in some films. I've done a lot of independent films. I did 2 films up here with a company called Keystone Productions, were kids' movies, and they involved monkeys. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Oh, Kevin mentioned that in his intro. Was that what you were talking about?
Yeah, the hockey one. Where you won the championship.
Well, the championship. Oh,
championship.
Oh, it's just so much like today.
Most Valuable Primate?
Most Valuable Primate Part 2. Not just Most Valuable Primate. My friend, that was a money-making program right there. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
You got to work with chimps?
I got to work with chimps. I got to work with more than one.
They fascinate me.
Well, to be honest with you, they are absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Their acting takes place with they have 2 little lawn chairs, and they start in one lawn chair and move to the other. That's their scene. That's how they do it. It's interesting. If they have to move through a scene, they have a start and stop place where they have to.
I see. And then the camera just catches the middle part.
Yeah, and they eat fruit roll-ups on either end. So it's very interesting. And I got busted a couple times just staring at the chimp because I was just like fascinated what they're doing. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm with a monkey. This is fantastic. So. But the director is from here. He's a great guy. He's a little crazy. He slammed my hockey playing to my agents. I'm like, really? You're going to take me out and make monkey movie with me and then say my hockey playing isn't good enough? Well, to be honest with you, I never had an interest in making kids movies. So your movie making isn't that great. So why don't you relax, fella? But he's a very nice guy, and he was out of his mind at the same time. It was awesome because he would say stuff like, "Keep it real." Like,
of course.
Really?
That's great advice.
Yeah, my winger's a chimp, and I'm supposed to keep it real. Okay, we're in. So, but they were always very nice to me.
So I mean, hey, if you let's backtrack a bit. Semi-deported temporarily from the States.
Yeah.
Do you know when? Like, how long will you be here for?
I could be here anywhere 8 days to 5 weeks. So
that's it.
That's it.
I was expecting to see you around the
Sorry,
city.
dude. Sorry, dude.
Not gonna happen.
I'm panicking. I want out. I've been here for a day, and I'm like, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Oh no, you've enjoyed. This is great timing because you're a huge hockey fan.
I couldn't have timed it better. My friend works for Red Bull. We went to the Red Bull Lounge today and partied there, and it was a lot of fun. Apparently we're going to some party tonight, and we're all gonna get to wear the gold medal, and that's where they all go.
So you gotta get.
I'm pretty excited.
Well, I'm glad that you came.
Oh, well, you say you're going to do something, you show up, even if it's 10 minutes late.
Yeah, well, I mean, America, God bless America for booting you out right at this opportune time.
Awesome.
Where did you watch the big game today?
The Red Bull Lounge, right in the Red Bull corporate office.
Oh, yeah.
They have a lounge.
So it was it's not like a big pavilion like the Red Bull.
It's about 200 people in this place, and that was about it. So
that's something.
It was pretty good.
Are you hammered?
It was great. Am I hammered?
Yeah.
I've been hammered all afternoon, and I haven't drank like this since I was about 19. So my head's like really huge right now.
So watching the game. I mean, you've been down in the States for 15 years.
15 years.
15 years. Assimilated.
My whole life is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
exactly.
honestly, when I knew I had to go, it was quite a panic. Like. I'll be honest with you. I called in every favor that I could not to have to leave. I pulled in some huge favors. Like I actually have in 2 years ago, I went to the White House, and I had no idea until about a month ago why I went to the White House. And that was because Bush's military liaison seen me at a club and took me on a tour of the White House. And I had a security pass within 48 hours to go to the White House.
Wow.
Which I found out afterwards usually takes 4 to 6 weeks. So I called he called Bush actually and said, I have a friend that's getting deported. Can you help him? And they basically came up with, if there was no way that I was going to get back in, they would get me in to the States. Like it would be all cleared up through them. So I just did my way, which was to pay a new lawyer, because they found out what happened with me. Like my lawyer, like I will be in a new
dementia
lawsuit
or something. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Basically, he forgot to put in a sheet of paper saying who was sponsoring me. So I was sponsoring myself to go to America. So that's a pretty big piece of paper.
And to call you a scientist.
Oh yeah, well, I was pretty thrilled. I was like, yes, I know, I work hard. We've done a lot of experiments on
chimps.
these jokes. Yeah, with chimps. Who hasn't? Sorry. Who hasn't been a scientist with chimps?
So, I mean, I don't know your politics. George Bush supporter?
Could care less.
Could care less. So
I don't vote down there.
Whoever can help you.
You know who I like? Who likes me?
Yes.
And I've actually been. I have three different times with presidents. I have the time where I went to the White House. I was on a plane with Jimmy Carter, and I was on a plane with Barack Obama.
Just by accident.
By accident.
And they're in first class?
Barack Obama was sitting in 2 seats beside me.
Really?
Yeah.
And what stage of this?
Was I in first class? This was right at during when they were all starting to run for everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his book had just come out. That's what I remember most.
Oh.
Because people ran to the bookstore to buy his book and have him sign it.
See, you don't get these opportunities in Canada.
You don't.
Have you had a chance to go to 24 Sussex Drive?
I have, but that was years ago.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I didn't really know what it was about. It's like, oh, that's interesting.
So at the White House...
Is this part of the illusion?
At the White House, did you meet any... you didn't meet any secretaries or...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not the receptionist. I mean, like the Secretary of State.
I didn't meet the Secretary of State, but I had... it's weird that you... What are your politics? You said to me, what are your politics? Yeah. Very... I'm not. I have Republican features, but I'm very Democrat. Okay, right. But I'm definitely not. Palin's on the right track. No, I'm like, who is that idiot? And why is nobody told her to shut up because she's ruining things? My other buddy, the guy that took me on the tour of the White House, the reason him and his brother worked for Bush was their father was Bush's pastor. So I have like all sorts of stories about like Bush and doing things and getting drunk and eating tiramisu, and you know what I mean. So, but
not Bush eating tiramisu.
No, not the whole bowl while everybody just watched. But I got to go like to the bowling alley, and we went up into like in the skylights and sat with the snipers, and you know what I mean. So it wasn't just like a normal like White House visit. So.
Yeah, it is a shame in the States, even here, but more so in the States, how fractured it is, where if you have any inkling one way or the other, you have to support the whole side.
Right.
Wholeheartedly. You can't just sort of pick and choose, as most normal people would, and go, well, this is good over here, and this is good over there.
Well, the problem with politics here, and then the problem with politics there is, my friend says in America they need a second party, because it seems like they're both the same. And up here, you guys got to pull 3 out. You know what I mean? Like it's just because...
Focus people.
I know. Just can you guys go on one? It's like a bunch of retarded kids playing soccer with no soccer ball. Everybody's just running in a field. Come on now. So...
we are talking with Ian Bagg, who's here for either a few days or a few weeks. Depending, know. Yeah. And the show's What's So Funny? I'm Guy McPherson, station CFRO 102.7 FM. And today was the big hockey gold medal game, Canada-USA. If you're listening on podcast later, that's what we've been talking about. You know, I'm not a hockey fan, Ian.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. So, being down in the States for so long, was any part of you kind of cheering for USA?
No, because I really look at hockey as a Canadian thing, and I actually was on a Houston, Texas radio station this morning just before the game, and was basically kicked off it because they said, who do you think will win? And I said, well, to be honest with you, I think the Canadians will win, but either way, the Canadians win, because if you look at the American team, their bloodline is Canadian. Like they everybody comes from some sort, whether they be a Canadian actor's kid or something like that. Yeah. All those great players that are on America's team have a Canadian bloodline, and I don't, or they played junior hockey in Canada. Either way, it's a win for Canadian hockey. So.
And Ian Bagg, thanks for calling.
Exactly.
What was it? Did they even? I guess they care because it's the Olympics down in Houston. Right?
Well, I think they want a repeat of the 80s. Why would you be disappointed in that team? They played so amazing.
Yeah. I know American today who said, "Hey, it's 1-1. Let's go to a shootout."
Right.
Because they each won a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice try.
Sour grapes.
That is not the way. That is not the way tournament hockey is played.
That's what I replied. Even though you have a lot of beefs about Canada, or at least
don't have it. No.
Well, no, but making a living here anyway.
Well, Jesus. I do have a little. I have a little anger. I've never really been accepted by the Canadian comedy community, so I do have a little bit of...
Really?
I do have a little bit of bitterness.
What does that mean to you, to be accepted?
To be accepted? I mean, I would love to work up here. I work here maybe once every year and a half, and it's just kind of sloughed off. Like, I don't know. I will be honest with you. It is frustrating to watch the comics that they bring up here, and they pay a lot of money to, that live in the States, that make no money, that are middle feature acts, and Canadians embrace them. I'm just like, they're considered shit comics, and I don't know if you're allowed to say that in the States, and they're up here making money, and I'm just like, no, do not. Why? If that's the kind of effort you're going to put into researching these acts, like that's. So,
are you talking at the clubs? Or are you talking at festivals?
I'm talking clubs and festivals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I do get frustrated with that. Yeah.
Right.
And it bothers me when and the funny part is I've never really put an effort into working back here, and everybody's, why don't you want to see your family? My family lives in Terrace, British Columbia. So if I come and work here, I still have to take another 700-mile trip up to Terrace. So it really isn't. It doesn't help out my. I'm away from the game no matter what. So.
They can see you on Facebook.
Yeah. What the hell?
See you online. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I'd say something stupid on there every once in a while.
Back when you were starting, and you mentioned Calamus and those guys and Punchlines, right? Mm-hmm. You never worked for Yuck Yucks?
I did work for Yuck Yucks. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
I left. But I think I may have been doing comedy 2 or 3 years before I left. I remember my third open mic night. Pat Bullard pulled me aside and said, "Do me a favor and put all your effort into getting out of Canada as soon as you can."
Oh yeah.
And I didn't even know that I was going to be able to be a stand-up at that point, so I didn't understand what he was talking about. And within a year, I knew what was going on. I was just like, "This is kids fighting over quarters. Why would I want to be here?" So yeah.
Was that here in Vancouver?
Mm-hmm.
Pat Bullard was visiting. Yeah, and he's now in LA.
He's in LA. I see him every once in a while. He's a very nice young man.
You hang out with Canadian comics down there?
Some. Yeah. I see some every so often. So yeah.
I know. So when you're on stage, you're unapologetically Canadian, right? I mean,
I don't even mention that.
You don't mention it, but do people say that the way you talk?
They usually think.
Where are you from?
I have a weird accent, so they think I'm usually Irish.
Is that it?
Yeah, they do, and I don't. My comedy isn't area specific, right. So there's no point in saying where I'm from. So
what specific is it?
What specific is it?
Yeah, what are you talking about? World specific.
Yeah.
I know, because you travel all over the world.
Yeah, there's no point in talking about one thing. I don't really consider myself,
So when you go to, I know you've been to Asia and Europe and other places. Is this all military stuff, or are you going
No.
How do you arrange these tours?
I just get asked. Me and Jim Gaffigan went to China a couple years ago.
Yeah,
together.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of fun. And we did for expats. We did 3 shows in Beijing, 5 in Shanghai, and then I went to.
How many people? How many expats do they have there?
A lot. You would be surprised.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids. There's a lot of expats Canadians, Americans, and English guys that couldn't get laid. You know what I mean? So they are over there living.
Yeah,
there.
spent a year.
Yeah,
in Japan,
exactly.
But they have that theory: if you're there more than 2, you're not going home.
That's right. You're a lifer.
So,
That's
yeah.
what we called them.
Yeah. So there is a lot over there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know you're an inspiration to one of the characters in the Pale Forest cartoon, the best one. The best one where he visits Canada Town.
Canada Town,
Yeah.
bags, or whatever. Yeah.
That's right.
We're friends. We're very good friends, actually. Yeah. He's a great guy. When I first moved to New York, we started hanging out. And I went to his wedding, and we hung out. I hooked him up with his manager that he's with now, and then left. We were with the same manager for a while. He's a really nice guy. He's crazy as as all comics should be.
Yeah.
So,
but he worked clean, or he's gone clean now.
He's always been really clean, and I've always said to him why, and I understand why now because he can sell a lot of tickets. I just don't. I've never believed in you should curb yourself from what comes into your head from coming out of your mouth, So
not a lot of corporate gigs for you?
I do a lot of corporate gigs, to be honest with you.
And do you have to curb yourself there?
Oh, yeah. But on stage, on stage at a club, I don't believe in it at all. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that you should be able to drink and I shouldn't be able to say a word. Or you should be able to drink and I shouldn't be able to let my thought out.
Right.
So.
And you have it in with the audiences a lot of times too, don't you?
My show's I believe in a dialogue. I don't believe in a monologue. So, So however
they treat you, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Mine's it's Christmas dinner, barbecue, whatever you want to call it, So
you did the Ian Bagg talk show up here for the festival.
I forgot we did that
for a week or so.
We did, I think, 3-4 nights of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so you're still doing that in the States?
We're not doing that in the States.
But you did it for quite a while.
I did it for 3 years, and it came about the time where it was ramping up for everybody to get talk shows again, and I thought I would be getting one, and sadly. I was passed over for Ellen and Bonnie Hunt, and for Daniel Tosh. We're even the kid on Spike Ferenstein. We were in the running for all those shows, and it just didn't happen. So I just kind of pulled the plug on it.
So you've given up that dream?
I haven't given up that dream.
You know what?
But I also my dream was always to be a comedian. And along that lines, with being a comedian, I always wanted to be a game show or talk show host. So.
Now every comic's a game show host these days, right?
Not everyone, but when you make money at them, you make money. Like I would love to make Howie Mandel money. Holy crap, $30 million in 3 months is not bad. So but I've been developing game shows with a company called the Game Show Network and a couple reality shows, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, so you're busy doing that too, and that's why you don't want to be sitting up here.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be sitting up here because it takes me. I'm working with a couple of different production companies, and it just kind of. Of course, you can work on the internet easy enough, but still, if they want to go when it's go time, I just missed 3 days on a movie because of it. You know what I mean? So.
You know what? Canada needs a late night talk show. Ian Bagg.
I would do it in a second.
Did you ever do the Bullard show?
I did not.
Oh. See, that's what you're talking about, not being accepted in Canada.
Yeah, and that's why I do have, when you say you have a problem with Canadian comedy, yeah, I do. Yeah, I feel slighted that I haven't been accepted up here. It's not, they make it seem like, I don't know, that I'm lazy or something. Well, I've made the effort to make it to America and get on TV all over the place down there. So
yeah, if you were an American comic at the stature that you're at right now, you'd be invited up here all the time.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. And I don't know if it's just my attitude or if
could be. I'm sensing something.
but I don't ever come here. So how would my attitude get in the way of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it also, I don't know if it's like. If I'm too hillbilly, being from British Columbia and out in the boondocks, or what it is, I don't understand it. So,
yeah, I mean, you think every year now the Just for Laughs does a cross Canada tour, and and it's a big gala. And every year the quality's going down
Really?
and down. I mean, the show is, it's okay. It'll do well for people who don't go out to a lot of comedy.
Right.
But the names, every year I'm going, really? This is it?
And it's all Canadians, or
No. It's usually one Canadian per show, sometimes two. And it's British guys or Scottish guys, Irish guys, Americans, a couple Americans. But yeah, I mean, you'd be a natural for that too. I don't know why.
What are they gonna do?
Calamus had the funniest story about trying to get on Bullard. Or no, not even trying. Have you heard this?
No.
He called, or they called him and asked him, if he'd like to be on. And they said, well, when will you be in Toronto? He goes, well, I'm not, because they weren't going to fly him out there. So time goes by, he arranges a tour. They say, well, call us if you're ever out here. So he calls them up, mentions that they had called him, and they go, okay, well, send us a tape. No, I'm here.
Oh. I heard a great story. I'm sorry that I rubbed my head like that, but I had a debate with somebody once when all the cable networks came on. I had a debate with not an argument, but a debate with some people at I don't know where I was, but I was in Canada, and they were talking about how great it was going to be because there was going to be all these Canadian stations, and I said, it's not going to work. And they said, why? I said, you don't have the population in Canada for that. Like, if you're going to have this many channels, you're going to have channels with one person watching it.
Right.
With this population. And they said, no, that'll never happen. I'm like, there's no way. There's just no way that you can spread it that thin and expect not for and then all of a sudden I start reading about all these like local stations going broke because nobody's watching and stuff. I'm like, I guarantee you. But then I had a talk with somebody this year from, I won't say who it was, but they started telling me numbers on shows, because I was like, that Brent Butt show went off the air, and I was like, how were they able to do that? Like, what was like? There must have been a huge vacuum, because I said that was Canada's most popular show, and they said the numbers were fudged.
I suspect they were.
And I was like, really? And they're like, nowhere near what they said was watching.
What I wonder is if they massed them all together, because it ran on CTV and then it ran several times on the Comedy Network.
Basically is what they were saying. For sure, with Mike Bullard, his numbers were, if you said he got 80,000 viewers or something, because it was like when they told me what they said he got, it was like, that's all they got? And like, yeah, that's all they got. And then they said that was over a day's viewing, not one viewing, a day's viewing. So it would be 3 times on the Comedy Channel and once on CTV.
Right.
So you're like, really? Well, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
so,
you got to wonder how many people are watching some of these stations.
My parents have these cups.
They're lovely, aren't they?
They're very lovely. My parents
cups.
do have those cups.
Ian's little parched.
A little bit of terrace here for you.
It's a little bit terrace.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Z, Last Comic Standing's coming back on the air. Is that something you'd ever do?
I'm actually talking about maybe doing it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Hey?
We'll see. We'll see.
Did you watch the first however many years they did?
Bits and pieces.
Yeah. And they had some okay years and some lean years.
They had, mostly.
But it's great publicity, isn't it? That's
That's
what you got to look at it
as. My reason why we're talking about it is I just don't. They've got to make a villain every time, and I don't. I would be scared that I'd be put in the bad light.
Wow. You would relish it. Wouldn't you?
No. What I say is, like, there was a guy named Jimmy Pardo that.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, they just thrashed him. He didn't get through to the third round. They just made him look like the biggest piece of crap ever. Like a hack comic, and that's not what I hate to be the villain. Like, I'm the dick, and you know what I mean. But the villain, as in somebody's got to suck it.
And it's all in the editing. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. So
you're weighing that right now.
Mm-hmm. And I'm also weighing to see, they haven't announced who their judges are.
Right.
There's rumors. I've heard Andy Kindler might be one, and Greg Giraldo.
Well, that would be good.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. I know why they're going after Andy Kindler, because they want a Simon Cowell. And he will slam people that he doesn't like. You know what I mean? That he will.
But he'll slam people he doesn't know.
Right, and doesn't know. But no. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't mind that. But my thing is, I don't want to be on there if Ant's judging me or that shithead from The Sopranos that thinks he's a comic. You know, that kind of stuff. I don't.
Or those two guys from the Tonight Show.
I don't mind them. They book me.
I know they booked you on that show.
Yeah, they book me a lot on that show.
What is their background? Do you know?
One of them is Bud Friedman's son.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one is just it's been around the stand-up scene forever, management. So they booked the Tonight Show forever. I can't remember what they booked before that, but...
Are they going to be back with Jay on Monday?
Yep, they're back with him.
Yeah. Have you done Letterman's show?
I have not. It's the only show I want to do that I have not done.
That's what comics really want, right? Because he's still so admired by young and old.
Yeah. It's funny that Jay just wanted to be liked by everybody, and by working that, everybody hates him. You know,
but if you look at his ratings, he was number one when he went off. I can't imagine him getting back to that.
He won't get back to it.
No.
And the word that I've heard is that Seinfeld wants that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. But, what I really miss from the old Tonight Show days is the guest host, as you mentioned. Not just the regular Monday night Leno or Shandling or Letterman. They used to have anybody guest host it for a week at a time. Steve Martin or
because
Vicki Lawrence.
Because the confidence of Johnny Carson was huge.
Yeah.
And it wasn't when you watch Jay's show, it's a desperation show. And Conan was the same thing when he did the Tonight Show. It was just there's nothing fun to watch somebody just desperate beg a conversation to miss the conversation with me and you and go over top to beg the audience to watch. They're gonna watch if they like it.
What's Conan gonna do?
I'm sure he'll end up on Fox or something like that. Yeah. I would hope he would do to be honest with you, maybe take like FX or something like that. Maybe really show what he's good at, and that's being completely different and irreverent.
FX?
Yeah.
You mean the station?
Yeah.
The network?
Yeah. Why not? Get away with more.
Yeah.
You don't have to toe as many lines,
Right, yeah.
They're going to give you just as much money. He doesn't need more money.
Not after that $40 million
no
severance package. Hey, you were on Dr. Katz, too, my favorite show of all time.
I love that show, yeah.
Oh, fantastic show.
Yeah, it was fun.
Which season were you in?
Season 8.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I own the first 2 seasons.
I know it's on the next batch that came out, but I don't know what season it came out.
Such a great show.
It was very fun. We'd just go into a sound. He was in a different city.
Right.
We'd go into a thing, and he'd ask us questions, and we'd just do it. So.
And you would just sort of kind of do your act. Right?
He would just talk to you, and sometimes you'd do your act, and sometimes it would just be conversation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then they would draw the
it was kind of
squiggles
cool.
around it.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy how I remember that when I seen it, they actually put me in a shirt that I used to wear. It's like, is somebody?
How did they know?
Somebody here that I don't know. So.
Oh, now I forgot what I was going to say, Ian Bagg.
Sorry about it. Didn't mean to get you so excited.
I'm very excited that you're here, and I'm a little disappointed that you're going to be going away, though.
From this room?
Both from this room to go party again, right? Mm-hmm. Party all night, and then eventually...
I'll be taking some aspirin before I go party all night.
So when you go back to the States, whenever it is, in a few weeks, say, will you do any of the rooms around town?
I will be. You will see me at all the rooms around town the whole time I'm here.
Yeah, just because you love it. You got to get up on stage. You got to exercise that muscle.
I love stand-up. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. So I didn't get into it so I could be an actor or famous. I got into it because I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. When
you started, though, you had another job, didn't you? Were you in, not construction, but... something mining.
It was before I did stand-up. To make my money to get to Vancouver, I was a blaster's helper.
A blaster's helper?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, to get out of Terrace down to Vancouver. Mm-hmm. So you just thought, I'm going to Vancouver to become a stand-up comic.
No, I knew I wanted to be a comedian. I was in my 19, 20, that age. And I knew I wanted to become a comedian. And my dad was like, get a job. And I'm like, all right. He's like, you're going to go to school? What are you going to do? I was like, I don't know what I really want to do yet. Although I knew I wanted to do stand-up. And I got a job delivering dynamite.
Nice.
And then from that, I ended up in a mine, a gold mine, and I was a blaster's helper. And then I was like, young and just a crap load of money.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know,
of course.
so I don't ask me how much I made or how much I was making, but I just like came home to one day to my dad and I said, "Can I get a ride to the airport tomorrow?" And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm moving to Vancouver to try to become a comedian." And he just said, "All right." So
is he the Aussie or is your mom?
My mom's the Aussie.
Okay.
And
But he was cool with that.
Yeah, they've always been very cool with, follow your dreams, whatever you need to do, So I just I just knew I wanted to try that, and I knew that I enjoyed blowing things up enough that was my second choice. So
it's like SCTV sketch.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been on radio shows and it's they bring up conspiracy theories about 9/11, and I was on once, and this guy was yelling and screaming about how there's explosives all over New York City. And that's how they blew out. I'm like, really? I'm like, have you ever smelled nitroglycerin? He's like, no. Why? I go, I used to pass out while carrying it,
right?
Because it's such a nauseous smell. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable, overwhelming, the smell. So don't tell me that nobody noticed that kind of dynamite all over New York City to take down that many buildings. So you shut it. That was flammable fluid that was in a plane that usually keeps a plane in the air that took those buildings down. So
they were out in force at the Olympics. Did you see that?
No, God.
They had a 9/11 Truth Commission.
Well, people make my head hurt. There's like nothing came of the Olympics. I'm like, I took that train in from the airport yesterday, and that's there because of the Olympics. And if everybody doesn't kiss the government just because of that, that's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
That is absolutely amazing for $7.50 and 30 minutes that you can get downtown. Like, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. It's almost like a big city.
Almost.
Almost, if it only goes one way. But still, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, I was reading something about how the Olympics cost $6 billion, and there's going to be no return on that. And then I was reading the fine print, and $2 billion of that is for the Canada line. And I'm going, well...
Worth it.
Worth it.
First of all, it was built in 4 years. I don't know how that other line took like a decade or something like that. So,
can't remember.
Yeah, so...
yeah. Another $1 billion went to the Whistler Highway improvement.
Horrible. Keeping people alive.
Yeah, horrible. And another $1 billion to the convention center.
Horrible.
So that's $4 of the $6 billion.
Having people come here and do their conventions, horrible. Don't want it. There's no way that'll ever go back into the community.
So anyway, your parents said, God bless you, good luck. Do you know anyone in Vancouver when you moved here?
Nope.
No? You knew that there was a club.
I knew there was a club. Didn't know how I was going to get onto the club. It took me another year before I actually went to the club. And
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What were you doing in the meantime?
I worked at I partied my ass off with a bunch of friends that I didn't know were living down here. Basically,
blew all your money.
Blew all the money.
Yeah.
I was working at a sign shop, packing signs and sending them all across Canada. And said, if I can't do this the rest of my life. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. So just went down to Punchlines one night, signed up for open mic night, and did history. It. And then I don't know if it's history, but they invited me back, so I kept on going. So.
Yeah, but I mean, did you have an act in your mind?
I had an act, but I wrote down all the points on my hand, and I was so nervous I'd sweated them off. So I basically made stuff up my first time on stage, and that's basically how I got my style of comedy the first time I went on stage.
Oh yeah, and you still kind of do that. I mean, you have points that you cover. No, get out of here.
No.
You have a set.
I do have a set. Sometimes some shows I will go on without a set on purpose, though, just to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you ever done these podcasts, Jimmy Pardo's?
I've not done Jimmy Pardo's. I've done a bunch of them though. Yeah. Don't ask me how many I've done. So.
They're all over the place now.
I want to do one, to be honest with you.
You should.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens.
Ian Bagg Show podcast.
Starring.
Yeah.
Starring Laughlin Patterson.
Well, I'm gonna let you get out to party.
You're very sweet. I'm gonna have to drink some water before I leave here.
Oh, you finished off that?
I tell you, I drowned there, buddy. I downed that.
Well, I'm so glad that you made it, even if you were a little late. And I know because today was a crazy day.
Oh, and I tried to get people to explain to me where this street was. Oof.
Yeah.
Apparently, heroin addicts don't know their directions. So.
Well, I'll get you out of here safe and sound. Thanks a lot. And,
Thank you, buddy.
Next time you're in town, come by.
Oh, that music's awesome.
Yeah. Next week, we have Carter Horty. He'll be back for his second appearance on the show. So tune in again, 11 p.m. until midnight. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Kevin.
Good night, buddy.
Good night.